Welcome to Gamesthetic, episode 119. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day today, whatever day that you are watching this. If you're watching it live alongside of us, watching After the Fact, or listening to After the Fact, we appreciate the hell of you. We got all the boys back. Zach couldn't be here last week. That is 100% my fault. Zach, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. It is his fault. He banned me for 2 weeks.
I really did. AniMan Plus and Gamesthetic both. I've been traveling. I've had a lot of other shit pop up. It's been a messy couple weeks. How you feeling though?
Wait, how is that 2 weeks?
Well, we didn't do 2 episodes of AniMan Plus because of me, and then he
okay.
also missed last Gamesthetic.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault.
I've been banned from podcasting for almost 2 weeks.
I mean, it was a nice little vacation, nice little break, unplanned break.
Yeah, come on, man.
This is why AniMan didn't hit 100 episodes last year.
I know. No, that was a different reason.
But I'm doing good overall.
Yeah. Then we do have John, who is rocking the Gamesthetic jersey. That thing looks so clean.
It does look nice.
I'm so jealous of that. I need to get around to finally buying mine at some point. That does look pretty clean. John, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired. I've been up a long time today.
You know, I do feel that. I've been up pretty damn early myself, and I've been working a lot today.
Yeah. I think I rolled out of bed about 5 o'clock this morning.
Me too. Me too.
I don't know why. It's just happened. I woke up.
It's one of those days.
This is when you wake up and you're like, might as well get going.
Yeah, see, that's me. You know, once I'm awake, it's game over. It's over, dude. I'm up. Like there's no hope at that point. But we are going to be talking about Forspoken today, which you didn't get as much time into as you wanted to.
No, it was a little busier during the week than I would have liked to be.
I feel that.
So I got a little bit of time in on it last night and some today.
Yeah. I literally started playing it a couple of hours ago, so I'm not very far in. I'm an hour 15 in. So it's going to be very early impressions, but even if it is early impressions, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to talk about.
It's like I got some stuff to talk about with it for sure. Because even though I didn't get the most amount of time with it, I try to do the most amount of exploring around to see what. Because I saw some of the complaints with people, and I want to see if any of it was, if I could encounter any of it, and if it was really valid stuff.
Yeah, I feel that. And that's something that I was kind of looking for as well, jumping in and playing it. But we're going to dive into that. We also have the developer direct that went down this week. Going to talk some more Fire Emblem Engage. I'll be honest, I didn't get to play. I still haven't got to play very much of it over this past week since we last chatted about, because I've been so stupidly busy. But I know Zach's been playing it. Actually, he's already put more time in than I have. I already know that. So I am curious your thoughts on it. Plus,
have I?
Yeah, you've 100% put.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
I haven't even done the Tiki thing yet.
Oh.
Yeah, like you've 100% put more time into it than me. I have barely put anything into it so far, which is really upsetting.
Zach is really overestimating how much we play games.
Yeah. Then a couple other things, including some stuff with Hogwarts Legacy. There was a lot of information. A lot of information came out of it, which is exciting and kind of understandable. I mean, the game is set to release in just like 10 days for early release or something like that. So, but of course, make sure to subscribe or follow wherever you're watching this at, listening to this at. Be a friend, tell a friend. Check out some Rogue Energy, of course. Use our referral link. Go pick up some Black Cherry Lemonade because it is phenomenal. Did you buy a 12-pack?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
You said you were on the fence about it.
Correct.
No, I'll probably pick one up in kind of like next paycheck.
Okay. So you're what?
You want the other half of mine?
I mean, I'll take it, sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're just not feeling it?
No.
No.
I mean, I'll drink it, but it's at that level. It's like
you like the others more.
It's not bad, but I'm not enjoying this.
Oh, right. I love it. I already bought a second 12-pack.
It's not bad, but it's not your flavor.
Yeah, it's not your cup of tea. Yeah. And then, of course, also make sure to go check out Agent Inc. and pick up a jersey like the one John is wearing because it looks sick. We have the AniMan Plus one, which looks awesome. Terrible Football Show, Sparky 3, all of it looks great. So make sure to go pick up a jersey. Use the link down below. Make sure to just use all the links. Go follow us over at TikTok at Sparky3 Official. There was one TikTok I'm going to have made here soon, promoting some Tri-Cereal as well. I'm still partnered up with them, of course, with our website, sparky3.com. Yeah, Zach had to think for a second. What is Tri-Cereal? What is he talking about? Yeah.
Did you know what that was, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
he's in the studio. He's not in the current studio. We got to get you back in the studio. But I got one. I want to do some promotion for them because Tri-Cereal is awesome. They recently actually just launched a private Discord for the current some of their current like more active creators.
Okay.
So it's a pretty small list that's in there, but there's some pretty notable names in there, so it's kind of cool. That I'm in there with, I'm in there with like a bunch of like superstars, and I'm like, hey guys, what's up? I'm here. So it is pretty cool. Definitely check out Trust Serial if you're wanting a website for yourself for any sort of content creation that you do. Any size creator that you are, go over to Trust Serial, hit the sign up. You can set up a one-on-one video call with them. They'll kind of talk about what your needs are, your content, and the Trust Serial is the right fit for you. It's very affordable, and they are unbelievably helpful. Big fan of Trust Serial. I guess with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into some conversations. We'll lead things off with Forspoken today, is what we will 100% do, since that is the new game that came out this week. And man, John, we hit the nail on the head about this game with how it's coming out.
100%.
The split on this game is unreal. We, like, all three of us, like, even though you're not interested in the game really, all three of us have said the same thing. You either love it or hate it.
It very much seemed like you either love it or hate a game.
And that is exactly how it's happened.
The only problem with the fact that it is so very much like split between the people that love the game and hate the game is the only people talking about it are the people that hate the game.
Yeah.
That's true.
So because
That's
the
very
people
true.
that love the game are just sitting down and playing the game. Because you kind of got to go looking to see like the positive news on it.
Yeah.
Because aside from checking out a few like reviews and like reading the actual reviews and stuff posted on it, most people that are actually posting online and stuff about it are not the happiest people. I mean, tends to be that way for the most part, unless it's just something out of left field that everybody loves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those things where when the reviews came out and we kind of saw the split, I just had to laugh. I was like, man, we could not have been more right.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pull it up right now. Let's see, where is, okay. No, that's one of them. I want to find the other one. The one that I sent you, I'll just go to our messages. It's not like me and you text very often anyway. But like the split was like when it first came out. Well, number one, Metacritic score is definitely lower than either of us were thinking. Because I mean, I think
Is it like a 40?
no, not that low. It ended up coming in at like a 68, but it started off at like a 66. So like this is one of them, right? 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Like that's just one example. Like the split is so unbelievably just
So lowly stair steps.
yeah, it's just two different ends. You have the few that love it and the ones that absolutely hate it. And I will say this, and it's one thing that I've seen some criticism on about the game that okay, I feel like that's kind of justifiable to an extent. Is that one thing a lot of people are throwing out there that when it comes to the bashing of the game is that I guess they just felt like they should had higher expectations because it's Final Fantasy 15 devs, Square published, PS5 exclusive, $70 price tag. So I see where the foundation's set where it's like they could have a little bit higher expectations. They were let down, but at the same time, like, I mean, I don't see that personally. You know what I mean? But I do see that being some of people's criticism is that everything else that was kind of built for it. Because Final Fantasy 15, pretty solid game.
Oh yeah.
Square, obviously a notable publisher.
They're just publishing.
Yeah, they're just
developing.
publishing. And then of course, it is a current gen exclusive. At the $70 price tag. So that's been some of the criticism that I've seen, but like I don't hold it to that. I guess level. You know what I mean? I don't know. A lot of people were thinking they were going to get the next Red Dead Redemption 2 or something.
I don't really see how they got it with that because I mean, this was a new IP and it was very much a gamble. And anyone who's putting clout on Square Enix publishes crap ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Square Enix just throws their name on shit.
And it's also important to note that even though these devs, they did do Final Fantasy 15, like you go look at their track record. What else have they done? Oh wait, hang on, just Final Fantasy 15. My bad. I mean, so this is a gamble,
And which even with Final Fantasy 15, they went a new route, which was a gamble. It could have very much fallen flat.
Yeah.
It's just people ended up really liking it and running with it, the open world action combat with it, and they very much took a gamble with the new IP that they started in the type of third-person freestyle running magic fighting.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, like, how are you enjoying the game? Because like I said, I only started playing like a couple hours ago. I didn't get very far. I'm only like an hour 15 in.
I'm a few hours into the game. The intro to the game was longer than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Survive long?
What?
Survive long?
Did you want
No,
because that's long. Oh God, that's long.
well, let's just say it depends on if you consider the first chapter to be the intro, because I kind of still feel like I'm in the intro,
Yeah, true.
like several hours into the game.
Okay.
But yeah, the game starts out with our main character, Frey, being pulled into court
Yeah,
for was it felony,
burglary.
like burglary charges or something like that. And since it's almost our birthday, the judge is nice to us and just gives us community service and that.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, the judge has a soft spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has a soft spot for us.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you kind of do a little bit of like wandering around the city, running away from like a gang and stuff like that, and then eventually you just get pulled into a magical world because you found a pretty bracelet.
Yep. It starts talking to you.
But
I will say I do enjoy their back and forth.
man, I will say
I do enjoy
anybody
it.
that doesn't like the writing, but the writing and the dialogue between Frey and the Gauntlet,
Yeah.
man, they're gonna fucking hate this game because you hear a lot of it twice. Because anything that he says to her that she has to relay to somebody else, you hear a second time, and she tells everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's dumb the first time, it's gonna be dumb the second time.
How is the writing? Because I mean, that was a thing that,
That
we
was
heard.
like the most notable.
I don't-
thing.
Rumors that people were concerned about.
I don't really understand where people are getting upset and calling it kind of like cliche writing or like kind of anything like that, because for the most part, at least for the majority of the time I've been playing up until the last little bit, your character is just confused and freaking out, and it just like she goes to another world.
She's being a realistic person.
like scared, trying to
Yeah.
figure shit out, and then realizes she has magic powers and gets excited about it, and then is trying to figure everything out as she goes. It's more realistic of what a mindset would probably be like.
That's so true, though.
Except like not if the person had like a mental breakdown or something. Someone who's trying to cope with it
Yeah.
is kind of how the writing is. And then you got the Gauntlet, who just kind of like it just goes back and forth with her. Tries to call
I
himself.
do. Like I said,
really
I do
wa-
enjoy it.
He declares himself a Vambrace and really wants to be called a Vambrace.
Mhm.
She won't call him a Vambrace.
Okay.
It's a lot of back and forth.
She just calls him Cuff.
Yep. Just cuff.
But yeah, of what I've played, it's mostly been, like I said, I still feel like I'm in the introduction because it's still a lot of walking you through and introducing different characters to you and teaching you, like it's still doing like kind of the slow teach
Yeah.
of it and explaining to you how the different systems work, still several hours into it. There is a breakup in there where right after you get to like the first encounter you have in like the main city in this world,
Mm-hmm.
you get to go out and free roam an area and run around and explore and then get to your objective and then head back to the city from there. And but other than that, I haven't really gotten like free time to go do anything. It's mostly just been like taking me from point to point and introducing characters and introducing kind of the world and everything from there.
Right.
Which the exploration stuff is
Still what you wanted, right?
it's still cool.
Yeah.
It's like I can't do at the point I'm at, I still can't do all of the exploration that was in the demo. You know, in the demo you had like the whip that you could go around with and stuff like that. I still don't have that. So some of the areas I can't get to because you need that to be able to traverse vertically.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, combat's pretty much same as it was in the demo. I'm still enjoying that. Some of the targeting I've gotten more used to, so that's a lot better.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, I'm still enjoying the game. I'm really looking forward to when I get back to okay, now you go do whatever you want to do outside the city.
Yeah, you're officially like uncuffed. Just go play the game now.
Yeah.
But he's attached to your arm.
Fuck off. I should have chose my words better on that one.
Yeah, the basic kind of story of the game, as far as I understand it to this point, is you get pulled into this other world. Your overall goal is to go back home.
Okay.
But the world that you get pulled into, the funny thing is stuff is named in the game just based off of how your character names it, and then that's how it's referred to.
Okay.
From her to other people, and it's very much like she says things because the character is from New York, so she just talks how anybody from America would in 2023.
Okay.
And nobody in that world gets any of her references or anything because it's like she'll just like say different phrases and stuff, and people just stand there and stare at her and be like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Yes.
Which I will say, in terms of like that, in terms of like what you already kind of touched on with, how she's acting coming into the situation, I will, like, while people may view it kind of like cliche and kind of cringe to an extent, I gotta side with you. It's very realistic. Like, realistically, like if I got sucked in that situation, I probably would be kind of acting pretty similar. I'm just gonna be real. Like that feels like something that a real person would be acting like if this happened to them. So
I'm sorry, I may be a sociopath because I'd probably accept it and adjust.
And also, one thing, about just you and this whole thing, I want you to know I did think about you earlier when I was playing the opening intro because I totally forgot how she got to the world. So it was during the scene when she's running away from the gang members. She crossed the street, a fucking bus comes up, and I'm just like, "Is this about to happen?" The bus stops, and I'm like, "Damn, so close." I was like, "Damn, that would have been how it started." Oh,
I will say, speaking to the way that she talks to other characters and stuff, and it being like kind of more realistic, where you're just somebody who's been thrust into this world, is like I'm at the point I'm at. I'm kind of going through the city through some event and like meeting characters, like I said, but people keep coming up to me and telling me like I've saved. It's like one of two things. They're either saying I condemn people or I've saved the city in this, and I got a tour of the city from this one guy, and he's like walking me around through the high city, which is where all the rich people are.
It's like an on rails thing, or did you actually choose to do this?
I chose to do it. I didn't realize how on rails it was gonna be.
Okay.
I thought it was just gonna be like a tour of Low City, and then he's walking me around the whole goddamn place.
Oh.
And it probably would go on longer, but the guy, it's like he's walking me through like the high city, and people up there start like bad mouthing me, and the guy starts going on about how they need to respect me. I'm the savior of the city and all that. And it's like, character just turns, looks at him and goes, can you cut it out? Basically, just like paraphrase, like, can you shut the fuck up? I'm not your fucking savior. If you want to save the city, do it yourself. I'm leaving.
sounds accurate, yeah.
Basically what happens. And then she just walks away. And like he's back there, he's like, oh, that's not how I expected this to go.
That sounds like a sassy New Yorker.
But yeah, I mean, but back to like the overall story of it. The interesting thing about it is, in this world, basically everybody lives in one giant city.
Okay.
Because the world has been corrupted through what is referred to by our character as the break, and called the break because the first time you are out in it and you see something running towards you, it falls apart and breaks. It's like it's like a dog or something running at her, and it's in there and it falls apart and breaks. So she calls it the break. And then just calls it the break to everybody.
So when she references it as the break, do they look at her funny?
They have a general understanding.
Okay, cool.
Because basically everybody's like, we can't go out there, but you seem to be able to go out there, so you need to fix this. She's like, fuck you, I want to go home. But now I'm on a path of revenge.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it changes very quickly.
This is all based on the story or a revenge?
Based on the story.
Okay.
I'm with you, Zach. I was like, is this on story or you? Did
Yeah, no,
something
this
happen
is-
to piss you off?
This is story now. Now it's a story of revenge.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, there are a few things that I didn't notice during like the little bit of free roam exploration I had, because I saw some brief clips that people were posting about it, which is if you're in a section where you have a main objective that the game is like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, but here's this open area to go to. If you go a very long distance away from it, it'll tell you your objective is nowhere near here. Do you want to travel back towards that way? And you can say no to it, but if you keep going, it'll take you. Like, it'll pull you
Just
back.
force you.
It'll force you back, which is annoying and supposed to be an open world game.
Free roam game, yeah.
In a free roaming game. I'm assuming that isn't the case the entire time. I'm assuming it, because most of the stuff I saw it in is through the section that I played through, which is very much, you're supposed to go here and do this thing in this area.
Let's just
because you can't really get to a lot of the other areas.
Let's just get through this so we can get you out.
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to go here and do this thing. You can run around a long distance. The only time that message popped up for me was when I was purposely just running away to see how far away I could get from it before it came up. But yeah, I mean the kind of free running parkouring aspect of it, I mean, that's still fun. I'm still looking forward to getting like higher ranks in the magic traversal systems so that I can, I mean, run further, jump higher, basically.
Yeah.
And then just climb stuff a lot easier, because in the demo I had like the multi jumping dash on the walls and stuff like that. I don't have that yet, and man, I got used to it in the demo, and now I don't have it, and I'm like, man, I just want to jump a bunch.
I feel you with that, because like a game from a couple years ago, Deathloop, like it's fairly straightforward game and everything progressing, but as you unlock the powers, it becomes so much more, because just being able to traverse things with all the different abilities and just combo stuff together made the game so much more entertaining once you got to that part.
Could say the same thing about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I don't know what you're on about. I'm having a great time just riding around, enjoying my journey.
Okay.
I would say one of the funny things is like the way the upgrading spells and everything works in the game is based off when you level up, you gain 10 mana, and then I don't know if there's a cap on how much you can have, but you don't use mana to cast spells. You use mana to unlock and upgrade spells.
So you more or less invested into a certain
it's
tree.
basically you just collect the resource, use the resource to unlock.
Gotcha.
And then there's little pools around the area that are it's like once you see them, know what it is. It's very obvious. Where it's like if you run over it, you get 1 mana per little pool of light.
Okay.
So it's like I just went through the spells that I have unlocked, found the one that I like the most, and then just saved up and maxed it out. Because it's like I found that one to be the most fun one to use. So it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to upgrade that one to 3 for now. And if it goes higher later, we'll see about that.
So can you mix and match the spell trees?
Currently, the only ones I have the ranged attack spell tree, and I have a support spell tree right now. So my support tree, the way that works is, or at least for the support tree, you unlock different support spells, and then you select which one you want to use, and then you use left trigger, targeting whatever it is, or if it's an area effect, you hit left trigger and then choose your area, and then let go of it, and it'll cast it there.
Gotcha.
As far as the other spells that you want to use, you can just swap them on the fly with the radial wheel.
Okay. Because I remember seeing that, but I wasn't sure if you could like set the radial wheel to like on one screen have 2 different spells from different trees, or you have to switch to a different one.
You from what the demo was, you had to switch between the 2 trees, because at least in the demo they had it was like a ranged option and a melee option, and then in the ranged option it was a radial wheel of all the spells you had unlocked there, and then the melee one, same thing. You just select which one that you want to use, and then like even mid fight if you want to do it, because in the options when you open up that radial wheel, there's an option for how much it slows down time
Gotcha.
while you're in the wheel. So if you want to play the game harder, instead of just going to like a harder difficulty or
So it
something,
doesn't slow down at
you
all?
could make it where it doesn't really slow down at all. There's a bunch of accessibility options too.
Yeah, they're really. I
I
went into
started
that and I
flipping
saw
through them
that.
to look through what there was.
There's a lot.
It's like they have it where like you can have like auto loot pickup, auto upgrade, different things like that. But yeah, I've been enjoying the game so far, even though I've mostly been just in introduce the world is as far as I've gotten for the most part.
Right.
I've gotten a little bit of free roam, and I've gotten like a mini boss fight, or I call it a mini boss fight because it didn't. It's like like the major enemy you're supposed to fight going through the story for the section I was at, but it wasn't super difficult just because it's like a lot of this game isn't hard to beat the enemies if you play well or dodge well or just time everything correctly.
Gotcha.
So it's like you can do a lot of the fights without getting hit just by dodging at the right times, or like that's another cool thing I found with some of the magical traveling is if you're fighting something and there's walls and stuff around there, if they're coming at you, you can just run up the walls, jump off them, hit them while you're flying through the air, jump again, land way away from them, and then blast them down. So there's some fun things you can do in there because the attack types change while you're in the air. So like
Okay.
so like normally if you just like tap R2 or something, you would do a few blasts, and then the fourth one is a big hit. Or you can hold it down, and you can either it'll charge it up and throw it at them, and then one of them is like a Gatling gun kind of thing, where you're just shooting a bunch of rocks and stuff at them. But if you're flying through the air and you tap it, you just do like one big hit on them. So it's like I've had some fun in like the little boss fight I was in, because it was an enclosed area, and half the time I was dodging, I'm just running up the wall and dodging through them. Yeah, it's been enjoyable so far, even though I haven't got that far.
Now, one question that I have for you, and this is like taking your own personal feelings out of it, because you already knew you would like this game. You already knew it'd be for you. Like, do you think the wide split for this game is fair? Like, you think it's kind of justifiable? Because also, I will say this is, and to me, really never justifiable unless it's like bad, and I don't think that's this game. But like, this game is being brutally review bombed. So it's just like taking your personal feelings out of it. Like, do you think like the split is that fair? Because, you know, one thing, and you even joked about it last week, like the only positive light this game has been talked in has been here on this fucking show before the game came out, and it's from you. But once the game came out, there were those kind of few positive reviews here and there. One of them being from Gene Park with Washington Post. He actually gave it like, I think like an 8 out of 10. And I actually, you know, and that's interesting because this is the same guy that I've referenced on the show, where it's just like, hey, it's okay to like a 7 out of 10 game. You know, because he was referring to Gotham Knights at the time. That's totally cool. So, like, taking your personal feelings out, do you think, like, some of the negativity is, like, super justified? Because, like, well, I haven't played very far into it. I mean, I don't see where it's justifiable. Like, the level of hatred that the game is getting.
It depends, because I'm going to say this as a generalized statement. I think that the majority of people that bought the game, that bought the game that are not enjoying the game, I don't think they've made it that far into the game. Just because of the fact that when you have long introduction, kind of like you don't get a lot of free reign to do stuff like the beginning of this game has. If people don't like that part of games, they're not going to keep playing them.
Fair.
So I'd say there's probably a decent amount of people who like started playing it and it's not what they thought it was going to be, because that's probably what a lot of it is. People just expected a different game and didn't know what it was.
The norm. We've been talking about that for weeks.
Yeah, I don't
2 weeks in 3 weeks now we've said those exact words.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's justifiable, because I mean, this game is marketed pretty much as like a open area, free running, like action RPG with magical, like, parkour, basically.
Yeah.
And it's what we have.
You got what was advertised.
It's like we got what was advertised. I think just a lot of people, the combat in the early parts of the game, I mean, to be fair, it's not that exciting. You don't have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
It's like it's like when you get all the crazy spells and everything, that's going to be mid to late game where you have all like we saw in some of those gameplay trailers before the game came out, when they pull up the wheel and they have 25 spells around the spell wheel. That's going to be mid to late game. But I think people were expecting that to be the whole game. And this is like I said with Digimon Survive, this is a slow burn opener.
But once you get going, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like, this is a slow burn opener, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I've enjoyed the banter. I've enjoyed the interactions with the characters so far, and the little bit of time I've had running around the open area. I mean, I knew what it's the same as I got in the demo, basically, which I enjoyed doing.
Yeah. I feel like, with how, because you mentioned Digimon Survive, like when we both started playing Digimon Survive, we both acknowledged it's a slow burn. But it's like once you got out of that slow burn, you just fucking took off and fell in love with it. I'm curious if the same thing's going to happen with Forspoken. Get past that entry slow burn part, and it just ramps up for you. I'm curious if the same thing's going to happen here.
I feel like I'm about to that point, because it's like shit's already started escalating fairly quickly in the opening section I've played. Granted, I don't know what the mid game is going to be like. I don't know how the story is going to play out from here or everything like that. But I mean, I don't think it's justifiable because of all of the information and all of the resources we had going into the game. Where at this point, if you didn't know what the game was before you bought the game, or if you didn't know what it was before it came out, at this point, that's kind of on you.
Right.
It's like we had a bunch of gameplay trailers. We had a demo that showed you what exploring the world in combat was like.
A very well-built demo to show you what to expect later. Like, the demo just didn't throw you in the beginning. Like, it gave you everything or a lot. It's like, hey, this is what you're going to get out of the game when time comes.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, overall, I mean, I can see people not enjoying the game and people that genuinely don't enjoy the game. It's fine to it's fine to leave a review saying this game isn't for me or that, but it's like, I don't know, people acting like it's the biggest sin that's come out. I don't agree with that at all. I can
agree with that too. Yeah. I feel like it's a little much.
I will say the questing system in the game leaves a little bit to be desired so far. Mainly it's just the way that the interactions are, because like when you go into a quest, or as they call it, or like a side quest, they call them detours. Basically, you go up and talk to somebody, and then it starts like a little cutscene thing, and then you can't. It's like it comes out of it, and you have like your character is there, and it's in engine and everything, but you can't move around or do anything until it lets you move freely. It's a little jarring. After a couple times, I've gotten used to it, but it is still like I don't quite see why it was done that way.
Gotcha.
It's like you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about when you start a side quest or something like that.
Okay.
Because it, like I said, you walk up to him, and then it kind of fades to black a little bit, brings you into a conversation with him, and then it widens back out like you can take control again, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time you talk to that character again, it does that same thing, which is a little jarring. It's the first time I've seen that in like an RPG or something, and it is weird.
That sounds very strange.
It's strange. I haven't quite gotten used to it. But we do have subquests where we follow cats around.
Fuck yeah. She does like cats. She had a cat at the beginning. So.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, this is by no means a perfect game.
Right.
Even at the point I'm at, it's not a perfect game.
But it's
like, I mean, hell, leading into it, it's like I think originally you were saying like 75 or something Metacritic, and I was like, I think you're overestimating.
I did.
Like,
I did. I think, like I said, I think it finished at a 68.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's got a 3.7 user review score because it's just being review bombed.
yeah, it's like somewhere. It's like this game is gonna sit. I mean, realistically, this game should sit somewhere around a 7 out of 10.
Right.
And
That's okay.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a 7 out of 10 game. I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna enjoy it the whole way through.
I think that is a really important narrative to remember, is like it's okay to get a 7 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about that before, but like I guess, you know, everyone at this point just expects the 10 out of 10s. You know what I mean? They expect the God of War Ragnaroks or the Elden Rings or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's everyone's It's okay to get a 7 out of 10 every once in a while.
Yeah. And the other thing,
That's what we get a majority of the time is 7 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. It's
mean-
okay. It's not a big deal.
I was gonna say, it's like the other thing to remember is just because you see a bunch of negative reviews on something, realistically, go read some of those reviews and see if what the criticisms actually are.
That's what I found out with Fire Emblem last week.
It's like if you go and read the criticisms, it's a lot of the times, I mean, depending on where you're looking at them for, a lot of PC reviews of Forspoken. I mean, the game. If you looked at the specs the game recommends for it, game requires a fucking beefy PC.
Yes, it does. Oh my god!
And if you don't have that, it's gonna run rough. And I would say most people don't have that hardware.
no,
So people that are buying it on there, I mean, there is hardly ever a game that comes out on Steam or something, especially big games that come out with positive reviews on them. You get them
very
here and
rarely.
there, but it's mostly people complaining about little things here and there.
right.
But I mean, overall, I mean, this game's not, like I said, this game's not perfect. Game has its problems, but I mean, games, it's like very rarely you're gonna have games come out that are the Ragnaroks, the Elden Rings, where everybody fucking loves it.
Yeah, that's so true. So, no, I'm looking forward to playing more.
Yeah, it's like go out and find yourself a game somewhere between like a 5 and 7 out of 10. It's like everybody's got them. Everybody's got one of those that they just absolutely love.
That's true. That's 100% true. No, I'm looking forward to playing it more and getting some more thoughts from both of us next week. Because then the week after that, we'll have Hogwarts Legacy.
I won't.
Well, we will.
I'll have something else.
Looking forward to it. You actually have a lot in February.
Yeah.
You've told me about it nonstop. Like you got a big month ahead. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it.
Hogwarts Legacy is coming out at a really unfortunate time.
For you, yes.
Yeah, for you, 100% because of the Dark and Darker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming out at a really unfortunate time.
Do you go through magic spells or do you go shank people in a dungeon?
He's shanking people in a dungeon.
Little bit of both. A lot of shanking, a little bit of magic.
All right. Let's hit the developer direct real quick. Kind of get our thoughts on that. Did you guys both watch it?
Nope.
Did you watch it, John?
Why are you looking at me like that?
So am I the only one that actually watched it?
You watched it. I played Hi-Fi Rush.
All right, we'll see. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. But yes, I did watch it. So my immediate takeaways on this. Number one, I am more interested in Minecraft Legends now than I was before.
Okay.
And that's coming from someone who is a Minecraft fan, but like the Minecraft spin-offs they've done so far have never really like pulled me in, you know?
I mean, the Telltale one was entertaining.
Didn't really dive a whole lot into that one. But this one, like watching the full breakdown, I actually watched it twice just because like it actually really did interest me. So this is one that I'm going to keep my eye on when it's coming to Game Pass. Hi-Fi Rush, while not for me, because I'm going to be on the side of John and just say I'm really bad at rhythm games, so I'd probably be very bad at that game. It looks really cool.
It's very fun.
The ESO segment, like I understand they're not like pushing the new expansion in this particular thing, but this whole presentation of ESO was just a big, to me, I read it as please play our game. Like that's how I read it, because they were really pushing like, you know, if you play right now, you can get all of this, you know, free trial, all of this, come play the game.
I mean,
you
it's
know,
on Game Pass.
Well,
I know.
It's probably hit that point again because ESO's gone through that period where it came out, had the rough launch, fixed itself up, people came back, played the shit out of it, and then it's been up there as like one of the top MMOs, especially console-wise, and that for years. But the unfortunate thing for it is, in the past couple of years, we've also, like, there's been other games that people have been really interested in, like Final Fantasy 14 popped off. And,
Yep.
yeah,
that was the MMO of the year last year.
Dear
like
Lord.
Final Fantasy 14 popped off. But it's like there's just a lot more options out there.
Yeah.
So it's like people have probably been just going around and checking out other games, seeing what's there. It's like
Right.
they'll probably be back.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt on that.
Like,
I mean, because ESO had actually a very good year of content, from my understanding.
yeah, it did.
well, that's the thing. It's like it has a very dedicated player base too. I think it's just a thing of there was a bunch of like Final Fantasy in that. There was a bunch of other hot stuff that came out this year or this past year or so, or just became super popular. So everybody's like, we're going to go play that for now. We'll come back to this when we're done with it. But this is just the lull where they don't have as many players. And they're like, okay, well, now we got to start offering stuff. And that way they can come back.
I always find that funny, especially with things like the ESO. Then I look at like Neverwinter, which is a free-to-play MMO, D&D MMO that has stayed strong for years
Right.
Yeah, but
and still has fairly good updates.
yeah, that game's always been pretty heavy on letting you pay for your stuff too.
Yeah,
So the people that are playing that game, they're funding it themselves.
they really are.
So neither of you guys watched it direct. Did you guys at least check out anything on all the Redfall, since that was like the big draw in?
I meant to, never got a chance to.
Okay. So going into this, I wasn't like through the moon excited for Redfall. Like it seemed pretty cool.
Wait, what happened with the Forza Motorsport stuff?
I have no opinion. I'm not a Forza guy. Thank you for saying that, so I could plug that I didn't forget it. I was about to.
I mean,
I'm just not a Forza
I
guy.
would probably just look at it as it's another year of Forza.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I want to know what fancy car they've recreated.
Couldn't tell you.
You Google Forza now, you'll probably see a cool picture.
God
Basically.
dang it. So much for being up-to-date information for people.
I know. But no, with the Redfall thing, like this whole presentation, it even gave us the release day of that May 2nd, which I think was originally leaked. We plugged
Oh,
it.
shoot. Are they really going to push May 2nd?
May 2nd, yeah.
Oh, God.
Watching it, it still didn't get me like hyped. Like I'm not hyped at all, but I mean it's gonna be on Game Pass. I'll play it. Like I mean it still looks fun, but I'm not like, oh my God, May 2nd, let's go. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that looks fun, I guess.
I didn't watch a lot of. I read a couple articles looking into it to see general information to see
Yeah.
if it was like, okay, maybe I should actually go and check this out. Nothing I saw made me want to go check it out.
Like
Is mainly why I didn't go watch it. 'Cause I was like, one, Minecraft Legends, I'm gonna have no interest in that.
like I said, that I actually gained interest in watching that.
Yeah.
I thought it actually looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
It's like I'm not really gonna have any interest in that. It's like only reason I would play that game is if someone was like, yo, you want to try this? And I go, I mean, I'll give it a shot.
no, the correct words you'll say, well, it's on Game Pass. I'll give it a shot.
It's like if it's on Game Pass and I can just download it, yeah, sure, I'll download just about any game and try it.
That's basically me with Redfall right now. I mean, it's coming to Game Pass day one. So, like I said, it still looks fun. I'm not just like unbelievably jumping out of my seat for it. You know, it's just like, I think it'll be a fun time. We'll see how it goes.
No.
But
The only thing I got out of it is I remembered what Redfall was, and I went, oh yeah, that's that one I wasn't super impressed with.
yeah. But I will say, Hi-Fi Rush has completely taken over the internet, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's being reviewed really well. Everyone is super impressed with it for it to be revealed and shadow dropped.
Yeah, it got shadow dropped.
Yeah.
I didn't know it got shadow dropped. I just saw a new rhythm game came out. Well, sure, I'll download it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually very fun because each level is actually fairly lengthy. I've only actually played through 3 levels. And it's your standard action adventure game just with rhythm base.
Right.
I mean, you can play it without caring about the rhythm. It'll just take you a lot longer. And it's more or less just a Saturday morning cartoon, man.
That's what it looks like. And just like from not only the presentation of it, but just like the dialogue back and forth and stuff, you know, that I saw in the trailer. Like that's what it looked like was a Saturday morning cartoon
I
to me.
didn't know what the fuck this was, so I looked it up, and Zach sees me over here going, what the fuck am I looking at? Because I click on it, I'm like, Okay, I guess that's what that is.
I mean, you literally, your guy is just some dude with whose arms jacked up. He never addresses it, at least not at this point. And he joins Project Armstrong, which is a project where they're more or less giving people mechanical body parts and whatnot to go towards their big plan. I've missed it or I haven't gotten to a part where it's actually revealed what their plan is. But it's a whole thing where it's some front. They're like, yes, we're helping everyone, yada, yada, yada. And then behind the doors, like, the guy's just like, what is this? I expected better. All you've gathered up is trash. Everyone here is trash for our project. And, like, our guy, his application is, his name's Chai. He's, like, 22, and his occupation is rock star. And even the bot's like, Rockstar.
He's like soon to be Rockstar, or whatever he says. Yeah.
And he's rocking out and everything, and just he gets put in the thing. They shove him in, and while he's being run through this conveyor belt, we're supposed to fix his arm. His iPod he had, which he had set aside, it got yoinked off the thing by the guy to make a statement. They're all trash. He looks at it, throws it, it just magically lands through circumstance on his chest right before he gets pressed, and he's just like, uh-oh. Replaces his heart with that his iPod.
That's how that works.
Yes. And now everything in the world around him follows the beat of his heart now.
Yep.
Even the enemies, they just move to the beat of whatever song is playing. And he teams up with this girl named Peppermint and her cat 88 because he touches 88 and they become bonded somehow, and 88 allows him to do cooler moves. And at some point, because it hints at that I can unlock moves for other characters, I assume I'll be able to play as Peppermint and then 2 other characters I see in the promo art. And like, no, it's just straight up a Saturday cartoon because like, and Chai's a fucking dumbass.
Right.
And the game does reward you for doing everything on beat and whatnot. And you have this creepy stalker fridge, which is training you the entire way. Like straight up, you talk to the fridge, and it's just like, "Oh yeah, I know everything about you, Chai." And everything is just like, you can attack to the beat and do strong. And Chai's just like, "That's creepy, man." And like even like you gain a new skill of the special abilities, and you go to the body, it's like, "Yeah, now you can use special abilities collecting dust." That literally just happened. I know everything, Chai. So yeah, the game's very self-aware too,
right,
with everything that's going on. And like the first boss battle is against the Q&A quality assurance manager, which is a bot called 1 Million, and like it's literally just bantering with Chai for a bit, and just you're on a giant platform, it's shaking and whatnot. You get it to punch itself. Literally, the head of I forget what department it is, but her name's Rekka. And literally, she's just a big, muscly... She's very much being stood as like a wrestler with all the things it does with her. And all this fun stuff. So yeah, I've so far out of like 2 levels I've completely finished, and then the third one I've partially gotten through. I've very much enjoyed it. And I mean, it's a rhythm game. I like Metal Hellslinger. I've been enjoying this, fighting to the rhythm and everything.
Yeah, it was a nice little shadow drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will also say with the whole like developer direct presentation, I actually really like the format of this, and especially for Xbox, who has the amount of studios they have. I hope this is the new norm. You know what I mean? Where it's like and when I say that, all I can tell you guys, just go back and just watch some of it. Just watch just a couple of segments. It's all time stamped, whatever. Just the whole vibe, the whole presentation of the developer direct I liked it. It flowed really well. It kept the pace moving. You had a lot of different people coming on, like a lot of different devs coming on, talking about various things. With the amount of studios that Xbox has, I do hope this is the new norm. I liked it. I thought it was done very well.
So you just Nintendo pills. You just prefer directs.
I do like directs. They're quick and to the point.
You just want the information to move along in a timely fashion and get all
Bingo.
your announcements.
I don't want the the 3-hour presentation
Production.
Yeah, the whole thing. Like that gets draining. You saw Zach and I at the end of the Game Awards.
No, I didn't.
Everyone else did. We were dead.
Yeah, it was pretty draining.
I saw you guys at the beginning, and then I was out.
He was like, "Deuces. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. All right, let's touch on Fire Emblem again because I'm curious on Zach's
I
thoughts.
just want to say real quick because when Zach was saying on his rhythm game or the guy's just like that literally just happened. That reminded me of kind of like in Forspoken, like right when you get to that other world and that it's like you're walking through that broken building and then a dragon shows up outside and your character just like stops, goes, "Is that a fucking dragon?"
That was funny. I did laugh.
It's like, and then the cuff just goes, I would recommend getting out of its sight so it can't see you.
That was funny. Like I said, I enjoy the back and forth between them because like whenever like she first got there and it's kind of like, where the fuck am I? What's going on? And she's hearing the talking. She's like, fucking show yourself, whatever. He's just like, I am shown. I can't be more showed. I'm literally here. I'm being shown because he's the cuff.
Yeah.
And then when she's like realizes that it's the cuff talking, she's like, no. And he's like, yes, no, yes. Like just stuff like that. I thought was funny.
And there was one other funny moment that I forgot. I was going to mention it to you. Is in a section I was just playing because the cuff speaks to her basically in her head.
Yeah.
No one else can hear it. And so like I'm supposed to be like sneaking through a crowd, and he's talking to me, and she's like she has to talk out loud to talk back to him. And he's just like telling her, it's like, yeah, maybe you should sneak through the crowd and try to blend in, or like she's sneaking through. And he's like, maybe you should try to blend in so people won't notice you crouch down like this. She's like, or, maybe I could sneak or blend in a little better if I wasn't having to fucking talk to you.
I have enjoyed the interactions between them two quite a bit. It's been funny, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much more we go into it throughout the game. But no, Zach, how have you been enjoying Fire Emblem Engage?
It's a Fire Emblem game. That's not 3 houses. I'm perfectly fine with it.
All right, so you're on that side of things.
I mean, because my original Fire Emblem game was that style.
Yeah.
Which my first Fire Emblem game was, it wasn't Radiance. It was like one of the first DS ones. I can't remember the name of it at the moment.
Oh, DS ones?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't remember those either. Good. I think Echoes of Valentino. I think that was 3DS.
Yeah, that was.
Sacred Stones, maybe? That was a DS game.
It was a DS game. I didn't play that one. It's not the one.
All right.
I'd have to look it up because I can't remember off the top of my head because I know I don't own it anymore.
But yeah,
which is sad.
You're firmly on that side because there's very split two sides to this where it's just like people are totally cool that it's going back to the roots of Fire Emblem, and people are very upset that it's not 3 houses too.
Yeah. There's the Fire Emblem people, and then there's the 3 houses people.
Yes, there's very two different sides.
3 houses was nice. It was an enjoyable game. Then we got 3 hopes, and then and they came back to what I'm used to. I'm like, all right, I'm fine with this.
Right. Overall, how have you enjoyed the story, the characters and stuff? Like, do you feel like the characters may be a weaker point? Because I've seen some comments about that, where the characters aren't super memorable.
I feel like they didn't go as hard with the characters as they did in 3 houses and many of the other Fire Emblem games.
Yeah.
Because I can definitely see where some would be like forgettable, like Vander. I don't know what his deal is. Why the fuck does it take so long to level his ass up? Mm-hmm. Like, he has some hidden mechanic where his XP gain is atrocious because he does not level up for shit. But he's super strong, which is bullshit.
Right.
But I mean, very much we are getting a cast of characters and I feel like that's still sort of in the style of Fire Emblem because like in the Awakening games, like there's tons of characters in that to build up to be able to make the children which come from the future to come join your side, and like most of them are very forgettable. I mean, you partner them up and that's it. And like the main ones that like the main character that sticks out is Lucina from that game.
It's like
and she wasn't even the main character.
It's like they're very much games designed around like here's two characters. The game is about these two characters.
Yes.
Everyone else is here, but these are our main points.
Which Three Houses was unique because the main points were the three heads, and then each one of their houses were unique and made each one of the characters very entertaining. Like the previous one that did that for me was Fates.
Yeah, Fates, where it had the 2 different versions.
3.
Well, yeah, because it had what, Conquest, I think was the last one.
No, Revelations.
Revelations, I don't know why I said Conquest.
Because it was Conquest, Birthright, and Revelations, which came out later.
Yeah.
And you had the 2 more or less families, which were all very memorable characters and whatnot from the Empire, and then the family members. And your character literally turns into a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
So that was like, and that was the one before Three Houses, which made 2 memorable factions, and then you got Revelations, which was,
It was a thing.
it was a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I've enjoyed it. I feel like there very much is a specific characters people will become attached to and whatnot. MC at this point is fairly weak. I feel like this is very much a nostalgia since you're literally collecting up all the heroes.
That's what I talked to Alex about.
That's what we thought.
I was like, this game feels like it's not about the main character or any characters introduced in this game. This is just
fan service.
This is a fan service, kind of like a fan service to everybody's favorite characters from all games.
Yeah, because you're literally just collecting up all the, because it's fucking 12 goddamn rings plus 7 bracelets from all the DLC.
Yeah.
And everything. I mean,
which also I want to throw in, I really enjoy how the Three Houses bracelet works. I really enjoy that. I think that's so cool.
So far, I haven't, because I'm not that far. I'm only on chapter 7, and I only got 4 rings and 2 bracelets. And so far, the bracelets are broken as shit.
Yeah, I started the mission for to get Tiki. I started that.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I found out very quickly. What you're saying, I found out very quickly. Have fun with that.
Yeah,
that is a brutal mission out of the gate.
Hey, that's a nice change of pace from what he said last time we talked, because he was very much on the side of, seems kind of easy.
No, I was not on that side. I said Three Houses was on the easy side. Well, this one, in my opinion, is definitely more on the difficult side.
He has the easy because he's went casual mode.
I did go casual.
I went classic.
I'm playing hard difficulty casual mode.
My only house rule with classic is if I fuck up and somebody dies on the mission they're introduced, I will do a hard reset and keep their ass alive. Yeah. They have to just survive their mission that they are introduced on.
Yeah, you got to actually have them.
Yes,
to lose them.
Yes, that's my only personal house rule with that. Which one nice thing is that the fact that they did bring back the time rewind from Three Houses.
Yeah, they did. Which
is a nice thing. So I haven't had to reset as much because once a person dies on the mission, I was like, well, fuck, go back.
Yep.
And everything, in which I've also gotten to the point that I've figured out the system until they introduce another class again on me of just how to pace my characters where I can have my tanks just absorb shit, then to space it out properly. Because with Fire Emblem AI, which took me a mission or 2 to remember, they always go for the kill. Doesn't matter how dumb of a move it is. Doesn't matter if their enemy AI are going to be super out of place.
They want blood.
If there's a kill, that character is dead.
Yep.
So if you fuck up and misplace someone, guess what? They're fucking dead unless the game rolls luck for you and they dodge everything.
I've learned that very quickly in the Tika mission.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I didn't even lose anyone on the Tika because I was set and I had figured out. And this is why I said Etsy, the archer girl, and Sigurd is best combo. Mm-hmm. Because I forget in Fire Emblem if it randomizes the items you get through missions or if they're always the same. Because on the mission with the thief girl, one of the enemies had a longbow. And I got a longbow.
Yeah, no, it's set because I got one too for that mission.
I gave her a longbow in Sigurd because you can stack the hit bonus on it. Mm-hmm. So she has hit plus 20. Momentum, so every step she moves, she does extra damage. So I one-shot all those goddamn dragons.
Nice.
Every goddamn one was fucking it off, and then I just move her in range of 3, shoot, then she immediately can move 2 steps away and fuck off behind Our tank guy. I can't think of
Lewis.
his Lewis. I just had her fuck off behind Lewis and Bogard because I gave Bogard 3 houses. So he's a bastard because I just charge up, range, shield with fucking Dimitri. He uses an axe. Edelgard uses an axe. Gets +10 for using same weapon. Oh, my archer has already moved and there's another dragon. Switch to Claude.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the 3 houses bracelet is that their trait is called what is it called? Friendly rivalry, I think.
Yeah, friendly rivalry.
So basically, it's constantly changing between the 3 on the battlefield, which
So,
is
yeah.
super cool.
And each one has their own sort of stats and play style. And then Tiki's fucking broken, dude.
Oh, really? I'm looking forward to getting her.
And the thing that I've noticed with the bracelets, I don't know if it's going to change with the progressing the game. Each of the rings can only go up to bond level 10. The bracelets can go to bond level 20.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to change or if they specifically did that the ring so you could more actively use the inheritance stuff because I assume at some point you can change people classes because it references it several times. You need certain things to be able to go up to certain classes,
Right.
which each of the rings gives like staff proficiency, sword proficiency, tome proficiency, all that fun stuff. Because there is very much with their whole leaderboard thing that they have, there is a correct choice for who to throw the rings on. Then there's weird choices when you really want to throw it in, like me and the archer girl me going hit and run tactics, or like I have. I initially had our Mage of Death, Cecilia, on the princess. Then I got bored, and I threw her on Lewis.
You're doing the same shit you did in 3 houses.
Because she has a teleport skill. And Lewis can't move very quickly.
That's big brain though.
So I went, I can move him into position to tank everything. And then I can also kill something on the same move.
Yeah.
And if I really want to, I can pair him up with the 2 martial artists. Because the martial arts are fucking pointless.
Oh yeah, they stink.
They're like, unless you're using them to down a magic user, because the fuck, why are you gonna down with an archer? Anyone who has to move up to the archer is gonna fuck them up anyways. The only reason for them is why they gave them staffs,
Yep.
so they can heal, and their critical guard thing. Because now that I have Zhen and Fama, I have a dumb combo where I'll send up Lewis, have them where he's going to get hit by everything. Then I surround him with those 2. One takes a hit, other one takes a hit. They heal each other, and they do it again. And then Lewis is just there.
Just chilling.
Yep.
Having a great time.
Yeah, because I'm just finding dumb combos to do.
That makes sense because that's what you did with 3 houses.
Yeah.
Whenever you were just taking characters like completely strayed from their canon route and just doing whatever.
Yeah.
Doing some wacky combos.
Because I had Marth on MC. I maxed that out. Now I have Marth on actually Jean, so he can dodge something. So his
Right.
squishy ass doesn't die.
I don't know who I have Marth on right now. Because I took Marth off of MC for the same reason. I maxed it out. So I'm using, plus I want to use the 3 houses one and play with it. So I don't remember who I had Marth on, but I will say I 100% agree with you on fucking Vander with the leveling up. Because I was looking at like all the stats and everything. I'm like, okay, this character's this is. Why is he still level 1? I'm like, why is that a thing?
After the Tiki mission, because I'm going to warn you now, once you get inside the castle and start releasing those seals, reinforcements comes every other turn and then every turn.
Awesome.
From the opening. And it's a dragon plus a different type. It starts with swordsman, swordsman dragon, axe, and it just rotates. So footman soldiers of all 3 weapon types. Then it goes through the special types. Then it goes through cavalry. And then it just re-rotates. So if you really want to and you have a setup and enough healing potions, you can just farm that for a little bit. Because I got everyone up to level 10 before I released Tiki, and then she was a bitch. She actually wasn't too bad, because luckily I had Lewis and Bogart there with cavalry weapons, so they just murdered the cavalry.
Right.
But no, she's broken as shit, man. She has tons of buffs. that gives like plus resist if people are around, healing. She literally gives someone a second life bar.
Really?
Yeah, she has a skill that literally gives someone a second life bar. And then whoever she's equipped it to, whenever they engage, they don't just change form, they become a dragon. And they gain a breath weapon.
Right.
The bracelets so far are so much better than the rings.
Well, I mean, that makes sense since they are the DLC, whatever.
Not really. It's DLC. It should be bad. You would think that it would keep it about the same, but nope.
Fair. Now, I did have a question for you involving this game because it actually came from the TikTok I put up involving Fire Emblem.
Okay.
Which also I want to shout out the on the TikTok version. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation with the YouTube short, but the TikTok version of that I've had a lot of fun conversations. It wasn't like Starfield where. Well, I did kind of send you out to get
Everyone
torched.
just roasted John.
I sent him out to get torched. That's kind of on
You
me.
sent me out to get fucking destroyed.
Yeah, I did, yeah. So it's not like that.
He looked at it and he went, "That'll be funny."
Yes, correct. This one was actually just a lot of like good conversation of like, the old Fire Emblem fans enjoying it because it feels more like a Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
The other fans, it's like, I am enjoying it, but I really like Three Houses and stuff. And one person commented, and I thought this was interesting, and I wanted your thoughts because as someone who hasn't played these games, I don't know how accurate this could feel.
Okay.
But he said, they could go a route like Atlas did with Persona, since that became the biggest SMT game. It developed into its own separate franchise. While SMT remained on its own, having its traditional gameplay, it works especially well considering Three Houses is already similar to Persona. So there's a lot of conversation that I see amongst the Fire Emblem community where it's like you have these new age style Fire Emblem games like Awakening, Fates, and Three Houses, and then you have like Engage and the rest. Do you think that's you think that's a pretty interesting take that maybe they could do both at the same time where you have like these Fire Emblem games that are heavy like on that social element, but then also the Fire Emblem games come out like Engage that are heavy like a true Fire Emblem game. Do you kind of see that take? What's your thoughts on that? I wanted your thoughts specifically. I even told him I was going to shout it out because I thought it was interesting.
I mean, they could. I don't see them actually doing that.
Well, it's Nintendo. I agree with you. They're not going to do it, but
because what I would see them more likely doing would be what they have done, and they did Three Houses, and now they're going back to those style. And after they see how this go, they might do another game or two back on this old style, and they may throw out the social more, things like that. Or since they did do the spinoff of Three Hopes, maybe we will see a split, and they actually do that more. I mean, because I could definitely see them maybe doing a more social focused Fire Emblem if they really wanted to.
like at Three Houses.
I don't think they would do Three Houses again.
Well, I'm not saying like just like
I
the
get
whole-
what you're
the
saying.
general concept.
And making it more of a that could be actually pretty interesting. Where they do focus more on the social thing and sort of getting closer to specific characters and recruiting them to your faction and whatnot, versus the more straightforward as this one is of just you go through the story, acquire people, and more or less which more likely what happens is you get your team and you just max them out. So I mean, I could definitely see that split there of them having a spin-off series from it that becomes its own thing. And I mean, I'd be okay with it. I'd probably play both of them because I mean, I have a shit ton of Shin Megami games and all the Personas.
Well,
Sorry, flex there.
Yeah, he did. Well, he spent a lot of money on his Persona games.
well, the thing is, like, with Three Houses, it kind of seems like the culmination of the experiment they were doing with adding more social elements to it in the past few games, and then they come out with Three Houses where they're like, okay, well, it's like we've been looking at this a little more. Now here's a full game completely based on that, and then it's like that did really well, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go back to what we do now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could see. I mean, with the success they had with Three Houses, and then, I mean, I could see them wanting to continue with that style game or that style of Fire Emblem game.
See, I'm almost seeing how they've gone with Engage back to the old style. I'm almost seeing if this is an experiment of them on their part of them going like, so Three Houses did very well based on the social link. Let's do a game back in the old style and see how it goes after getting all this
I could see that.
Three House and then going whichever one based, however they decide does better and going with the one they feel like did better.
See, that's what I was kind of thinking. I don't see a split happening where they do both of them.
Yeah.
It's like I see them looking at Engage in Three Houses and going, which one of these does it seem like people preferred playing? And then like trying to continue making that style game, at least for a couple games, and then maybe see, like maybe then people would want a refresher on it.
Yeah.
Because Engage just seems like it's throwing all the new people off because it's not what they expected.
It's not what drew them into the Fire Emblem series, in which, as I said, I would be okay if they did a split. Not what I ideally see, which I think you and me on the same mind, John, and just like this is an experiment to see, do they get the same fan base and exposure and whatnot from going back to the older style,
Right.
and let this decide where they go forward with the next Fire Emblem game.
Yeah, I can see that too. Like I said, I thought it was a super interesting take they threw out there. Kind of, spark some conversation on that. But, I'm kind of in that boat too, where it's just like, they've done 3 games in a row that are very heavily focused on this. Let's try going back to the roots, see how it goes. I haven't seen any sales numbers or anything yet, so we'll continue to.
Was Birthright social heavy?
Which one?
Birthright and Conquest? Was it social heavy?
Not as heavy as Awakening Three Houses.
Okay, I didn't think it was.
No, but all 3 of those are in that same realm.
Okay.
Like they're all in the same realm, but Fates is going to be the weakest of them. Because the thing about Fates is that it is heavy in that social element to the extent of you're getting close to these 2 different factions. Because it's the whole point of the 2 versions. But it's not as obviously. Awakening's very heavy in it because, like you already mentioned, it's got the whole kid thing.
Which got weird.
Yeah, so obviously that's very focused. And then as me and John talked about with Three Houses last week, Three Houses, like the whole idea of the game is
the whole academy thing is building the social links.
Yeah,
and
that's the whole thing.
Literally
that's the whole
taking
point.
characters from other houses.
Yeah, that's the entire purpose of the game. So, it's interesting between new Fire Emblem style and old Fire Emblem style, and the conversations, like I said, have actually been pretty healthy, which is nice. No torching like what.
I don't know what that's like.
The social aspects were nice and whatnot, but I am very much the old style Fire Emblem because that's the ones I've played that I'm very much okay with going back to this and just more straightforward.
Yeah.
Because I can literally, after I get to a point, I can just turn my brain off and just farm.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of like, because I'm kind of that way too, where I like in those style games finding like the set of characters that I enjoy playing or works really well together. I'm like, okay, this is my squad now.
Right.
One thing I do want to throw out there, because you did say the social thing, I don't know if you saw it. There was an article about how, because if you note, with this one, the supports and bonds only go up as far as A, versus in the previous several games, went up to S, in which somebody noted that, which I noticed as well, because I'm playing with Japanese voices, with the English dialogue. Like, I'll see the English dialogue stuff and hear the Japanese and go, there's a lot more being said here than what's in those subtitles. And, like, someone noted that there's censorship for Engage is that for any of the characters that are seen as underage, they've removed any reference to possible, like, once you get to that max bond of them mentioning any type of, like, romantic type relationship.
That makes sense, though.
It does make sense in that taking it out just because of what people are used to in the West and whatnot, and seeing that as
it is strange to just take it out of the subtitles or something if you have the Japanese voiceover.
Because like the thing that they mentioned, which is a character I haven't met yet, there's a merchant character. She's like 15 or 16 in the game, and like in which Japanese doesn't go hard on. The references they said that in the original Japanese, she references saying that they're too young to have anything like real deep and whatnot, and more or less becomes a conversation like, well, we can just be partners at this time and explore it as we age, and doing very well with it, not like going like hard. Oh, we're now gonna have like this really romantic relationship. It was a very well done way of how they did it, just them being like, well, I'm still very young and whatnot, and let's see how this goes as we get older and everything, versus the English version is just like, yeah, we made this great item, we're selling it tons, and we're gonna be buddies for the rest of the time. I was like, okay,
Right.
because the Japanese, it didn't go hard. They were very tactful with it, very well aware that it was an underage character and whatnot. But it's just that thing that they took that tactful thing out of the Western release just because it's just like,
Yeah, which I agree to that. Like, the fact that it is basically taken out in the West. Like, hey, all right, respect. So I'm here for it. Respect. All right. Any other thoughts on Fire Emblem? Are you ready to hit some other stuff? Because we're basically at the weekly wrap up now, which is a lot of Hogwarts Legacy stuff.
bracelets are broken.
Bracelets are in fact broken. All right, let's hit the weekly wrap up, which does lead off with Hogwarts Legacy, because there was a lot of information that has popped out. Obviously, the game is, let me look, from early access. We are 9 days away from early access. Shout out to that. So here's some general information. So it's up to 120 hours of playtime. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are. 150 plus side quests, transmog system, no romances, 4 levels of difficulty, mini games, 26 spells to choose from, different season and day and night cycle, no morality system. You can choose to be evil if you would like. Now, one thing I do want to add on that I also saw, which is like, that's kind of disappointing, is there's like, from the way they put it, and granted we won't know till the full game comes out, is that there seems to be no repercussions for that. Like, if you choose to be evil, you're not going to get, like, there's not any, there's like, whatever. You killed a student, no big deal.
That's what they meant by no morality system. So there is no repercussions for deciding to do evil things or no bonuses if you choose just to be pure good.
Yeah. So
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not a big fan of that. Out of everything that came out, that's the one thing
that I feel
it
like
is wild Hogwarts.
Yes.
I feel like giving you the choice to be evil if you want to, or have the ability to play the evil wizard if you wanted to, that's fine. And there being no morality system where like gameplay or like mechanic wise getting punished for being an evil character or something, that doesn't bother me. The fact that there's no repercussions in the game, like you're going to Hogwarts, you're a student. The fact that there's no repercussions for any of the evil stuff that you would want to do in the game, that's where I have an issue.
Agreed. 1,000%.
You just kill somebody's friend in front of them, and you see them the next day, they're just like, oh, hey.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing, like, when I read that, I'm just like, oh, that's actually kind of lame. I'm not a big fan of that.
I don't necessarily like that, because it's like that gives you just free reign to
be a dick.
Do whatever you want to and not have to worry about consequences. Because even in games like, even in games like GTA and stuff, you run around and you kill people all the time, but you still have, you kill someone in the middle of the street and you still have cops come after you.
Yeah.
Whereas this sounds like, okay, well, if you kill a student, well, I guess that student's not in class anymore.
Oh, well, shit be wild.
Oh, you killed that evil wizard? Well, thanks for that. Don't worry about it. Nothing could awfully go wrong by you just killing people in the streets.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah,
I would like the option to be evil, but have to be like, if I was like cursing students or something like that, have to do it where like they don't see me do it, or like if I kill people, have to do it in a way where nobody knows that it was me or something like that.
Right.
And like have to cover it up in some way. Granted, that could be that'd be a fucking hassle to figure that out game wise.
It'd just be Hitman Hogwarts.
Yeah, it'd be like Hitman Hogwarts or something like that. But having no, going from one to the other is.
I just now pictured Agent 47 and a fucking wizard's robe with his bald ass head.
He'd fit in.
I didn't even.
He'd find a way.
You're picturing him in a wizard's robe. I just pictured Agent 47 in his suit.
Just strolling up in Hogwarts.
Like, he doesn't even have a wand.
Oh, he's got his own version of a wand, let me tell you.
Fucking hardballers.
But yeah, that's disappointing news.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the trade-off for this being the first game, giving us the ability to cast these evil curses and everything.
Yeah. Then some other information that came out, and this is more so like just some thoughts from people who've gotten to play it, is that it's quoted magical like the movies.
What does that mean?
I don't fully know. That's just a quote that I came across from someone
Okay.
who's played it. Is that
I don't understand what that
just
means.
I guess the overall vibe,
Yeah,
the
you're
overall feel of the
Yeah, you're
world.
at fucking
and everything.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, you would hope that it's gonna feel like that.
If it doesn't feel like if it's not magical shit happening everywhere, you're just playing a game where you're going to school.
Playing
Basically.
Dreamlight Valley.
No.
We'll keep going. I'll get more game references in here.
All right, gameplay is better than expected. Story is very well written. Very good character customization. Well, that's cool. Great side quest content, good variety. Free roam is fun, and using spells feels awesome.
That's where I am going to say I don't know where that's coming from, but that is probably the most subjective part of the article.
Right.
Is that the using spells feels awesome. Because I'm looking at this going, this has up to 120 or so hours of gameplay to it.
But only 26 spells.
See, that's what I thought. I was like, that feels so low.
As soon as he said 26 spells, I'm sitting here running through like spell list in my head of what I've seen in game as well, and then running through other stuff, being like, okay, well, it's like
That just feels low.
There's not a lot there, so. And there's only so many combos that you're going to be able to come up with 26 spells. So there's got to be some other aspects to it.
From some of the gameplay we've seen before, it very much seems like it was going to be a set amount of spells and then adding an environment to really
it's like
max out your
environmental
gameplay.
or finding the interesting ways to use them and combine them together.
Yeah.
Still, it
was going to be a lot of rinse and repeat.
As far as like the spells feeling like great to use in that, I'm wondering. I mean, that's all down to the combat side of it. Is how long is that gonna stay fresh over the course of the game?
That's fair.
Because in some games will like have a heavy combat focus. They're gonna live and die by how good the combat feels and how good it is over the long term. And I feel like that might be the case with the length that they're talking about and the amount of side quests and that. There's got to be a decent amount of combat associated with some of that, and if it gets boring, that's gonna feel bad.
True. Overall, like the entire like vibe coming out of some of the early access people have gotten to play right now, like the play testing stuff, is that it's overall like overwhelmingly positive. Which is kind of what a lot of Harry Potter fans are hoping for. Is like, please give us like the one good game. You know what I mean? Just give this to us, please.
I mean, Hogwarts Quidditch was amazing, man.
I mean, true, but like other than that, like what all do they have in terms of like great Harry Potter games? Like this is the game that Harry Potter fans want.
Subjective. I've got some great Harry Potter games that I loved.
I mean, the AR Harry Potter game did well, right?
I have no idea. Did it?
I don't know. It was a mobile game.
No. Oh no, that canceled that shit quick. That thing lasted like what? Did it only last like a year?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? You're the phone guy.
You're more of a phone guy than me.
He's an idle person.
I play idle games.
All right, whatever. But no, I think that game legit lasted like a year.
Okay.
And got canned. But no, I mean overall, all the reviews for it overwhelmingly positive. Looking forward to playing it here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I remain with the asterisk next to Hogwarts Legacy before it comes out for me.
Oh, yeah, true. Next thing we have on the weekly wrap up is over 10 minutes of alpha footage for that Horizon multiplayer game is leaked. I did get to watch it. Just looks like Horizon multiplayer. It looks good. And for it being alpha, looked pretty good, honestly. Like the only thing that
that reminds me.
the only thing that was obviously very clearly like I guess lacking in terms of the graphical point is the characters themselves that they're playing, because it's all customized characters, so they all looked very clearly different. But like the world itself looked awesome, for being alpha. I will say the character customization I feel like is going to be very wacky, because going through the 10 minutes I was watching, there was like multiple avatars that I got to see, and there was one that was like a very tall, buff, burling character, but it had like a little girl's princess face. And I'm just like, so the customization is going to be very wacky. Okay. But yeah, if you're interested in the Horizon multiplayer game, the footage is currently leaked out there until it's taken down. Next thing, per Insider Gaming, which is by Tom Henderson, Far Cry 7 and Far Cry multiplayer game, Far Cry standalone multiplayer game is currently in active development. Next up, Neil Druckmann. This one kind of made some news this week. He says that Naughty Dog is in fact completely done with the Uncharted franchise.
I saw that.
Yeah, and he said they will only make a Last of Us 3 if they have a compelling enough story. Which, is kind of the same thing apparently he said with Last of Us Part 2 is they need a compelling enough story to write it. They said they have an idea for 3, and it's just if they can make it what. He also claims that Last of Us Part 2 ends on a satisfying enough note. That's exactly what he said, and everyone's just like, no, it didn't. No, it did not. It did not end on a satisfying note.
Well, that just depends on that's a difference of opinions of,
It is.
of creators right there.
Yeah. But I will say, being done with Uncharted, I wonder if, in their mind, do they just feel like there's no more story to be told, or have they just personally moved on? Because
I think they've probably
they've
just moved
moved on.
on.
yeah, because I feel like it's a thing of like, if they feel like a story can still be told, let another studio take a crack at it, kind of thing.
That's how Naughty Dog's always been. I mean,
Yeah.
besides the Crash games, that got taken up by Toys from Bob, to be fair.
Yeah, it did.
But Crash 3, they were good. They left it on. There was some more that came out, but that was all different studios.
Right.
Jack and Dexter series, Jack 3 came out. They felt like it was good. They were done. Never touched it again.
And another one that I thought of, because this studio flat out came out and said, "Hey, you reach a point where we don't need to go back to this," is Sucker Punch.
Yep.
Sucker Punch hit their humongous, massive success with Ghost of Tsushima, and they're going to continue to build on that. And they literally came out and basically said, "Hey, we hit a massive successful game. Why would we go back to Sly Cooper? Sly Cooper is great. We love it. We made it. It's awesome. It's nostalgic, but like, it's nowhere near the success of what Ghost was."
Yeah.
So Sucker Punch basically upfront said, "Why would we go back?" So it's kind of, I feel like the same thing right now with Naughty Dog. While Uncharted is obviously a very successful franchise, they got The Last of Us. You know what I mean? And now they're looking for a new IP even.
I mean, even with that, after Last of Us Part 1, they did Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
And they finished up with what they felt was their
They finished
tie-ups.
like they felt like their story to
Yeah.
tell. So like if Sony wants to hand it off to someone else, I feel like it can continue. But in terms of Naughty Dog continuing, that's obviously gone.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. That caught some heat this week. Also, speaking of Last of Us HBO show has already been confirmed for season 2. 2 episodes in. No surprise
Anyone
there.
watch that?
Yep.
I haven't watched it, but it's like I know people that have no idea what Last of Us is at work that are loving it.
I've watched both the first episodes. Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Pretty solid. I will say, as someone who's very critical of both games for various reasons, my girlfriend, she's experienced the first game as well, and she's in the same boat as me, where it's like, it's okay, it's not a masterpiece. Even she agrees with me, where it's just like, I'm enjoying watching this a lot more than I was playing it. Like, I don't know, it's just a different vibe.
I was gonna say, are you going into it trying to watch it as a show with the game in mind, or are you just going into it as
A show.
a show? Because
For me, it's actually a bit of both.
I was gonna say, from people who have no idea about the games, I've heard nothing but raving reviews for it.
True.
I mean, let's be honest. The Last of Us story is very compelling and very interesting. So having no idea that it was a game originally,
Yeah.
I could very much see the story as a drama be fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's like you don't have the comparisons being gone back and forth in your head.
Yeah.
Of like, well, this was a little bit different in the game. I preferred the way it was in the game, or some idea like that.
The only thing to take with this, besides just games being turned into any kind of live action, have been very shoddy and for the most part very bad. Is just like games are made in the terms of expecting players to play it, so there is a bunch of extra stuff added in just for players to fuck with. Versus a drama, it's very much more straightforward of, this is point A, this is point B. How can we get it to the best point? We'll make it interesting and make sure that people understand what the fuck's going on. So let's cut out a bunch of shit.
Right. And just figure out the pacing for it, which
Yes.
I will say the pacing for the first 2 episodes have been pretty solid, especially since like,
And then they also take the fact of just characters like, how can we spice this up?
right, yeah. One thing that I do actually really like that they did for the series is how long they made the first episode. The first episode's actually an hour and 40 minutes.
Damn.
I was
which there was a reason for it
I was
that
gonna
Neil
s-
threw out there.
I was gonna say a lot of, or it's become more common in recent years. For newer shows that either the first or the last episode, or sometimes both, are
Beefy.
like they're 50% longer
Right.
than every other episode. That's become more of a trend, at least for like HBO shows and stuff like that.
Neil commented on why the first episode was so long, and his mindset was because of them not wanting to cut out various pieces of content with how the series starts, obviously, and also wanting to add more content in to give you some more clarity on certain things. The episode length for the original episode 1 they had, he just felt like it didn't have enough of any sort of interaction between Joel and Ellie, like them meeting and kind of thing. And since that's one of the big selling points of this whole series, that's why they extended episode 1, is to be able to include when they meet and brief interactions between them. That was the mindset. And like I said, they've included extra content in episode 1 and 2 and changed a couple things to kind of better fit the flow. In episode 1, it literally starts with something that, if I remember correctly, I haven't played Last of Us, the first one, for many years. I don't really plan to replay it, but I'm pretty sure this was not in the game. Pretty sure the game just starts immediately with like Joel and his daughter and stuff, but it immediately starts with like a TV like interview with like a doctor and stuff, and they're basically talking about end of world apocalypse and stuff. And the one doctor's like, if there's anything that's going to end the world, it's going to be fungi, and he starts talking about it, and it really sets immediately a very eerie tone. Was that in the game?
No, because the
Okay.
game very much let you discover that while
Okay.
exploring and whatnot, and just seeing
Yeah.
the creatures that people became from the spores and fungi.
Because there's at least 3 shots that I can think of off the top of my head that were not in the games, and one that was different. So that was one of the first shots that was not in the game. Another one was in episode 1 where you see the outskirts of Boston and you see a little kid walking up to the gate and like fall over and pass out. And then you get to see the kid being brought in and being talked to the Fedra and everything. And, they do the scan behind him.
Yeah.
It's obviously negative. He's infected. And, they're still being super nice to him. It's just like, we're going to get you all the toys that you can play with, whatever. And it kind of skips from there. You see Joel doing work, just everyday odd job work, and where it's throwing dead bodies into the flame, infected dead bodies. And there was another female. It's like, I can't do this, whatever. And it was that boy. Like you could just tell from the clothes he was wearing. But yeah, they shot the boy, and now Joel threw his body in to get burned. So that was not obviously in the games. And then
I mean, that's very much, I see them dramatizing it, which is very understandable.
Yeah, it works perfectly for the show. And then also in episode 2, something else that wasn't in the game is further delivering what exactly we're dealing with, because it takes a moment to, before everything went to complete shit where it was starting, there was I forgot what country it is, but there was a fungi specialist that the military of that country took. It's like, we need you to evaluate this person, and she quickly figured out that it's cordyceps, whatever. And after when they were trying to say that, she's like, that's not possible, it's not in humans. And it's like, just go look at the body. That she cuts open the leg, sees it, she pulls the shit out of the body's mouth, and basically it really set that eerie vibe very quickly, because the dude of the military is like, we need your help, we need help with a vaccine or medicine or whatever. And she's like, there is no vaccine, there is no medicine, this is unprecedented. He's like, well, what should we do? And she literally said, bomb everything, bomb this entire city. It just bomb everything.
It makes sense because it's very much for the viewer of the show versus as a gamer. That's where we have like collectibles and just like documents laying around that we find to help explore that lore and whatnot.
Right. And then Tess's death was also different, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Tess, when everything happened there, it was she was holding off the resistance or soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's infected in this case.
Well, no, she wasn't.
I know she was but like it was actually infected that came into the building, not soldiers. Because once I saw that, I was like, I'm pretty sure it was soldiers that she was gonna kind of fend off and blow up everything with, but no, it was infected in the show, which gave you a very unsettling sight, by the way.
I might have to double check that because they were dropping Ellie off, weren't they?
Yeah, they were in the main building. All of the fireflies were dead, and that's when she revealed that I was bitten, and then apparently I guess more Fedra or whatever was on the way, and she was going to hold him off, and you can see Tessa's dead body later. in this case, it's infected that's coming. And man, did it give you an unsettling fucking shot where, she's dumped the gasoline everywhere. The infected comes in. There's one infected that turns and looks at her and just walks up to her and just like gets like this close to her and basically just starts like making out with her. Like he puts his mouth up against hers and you just see the fungi like go into her mouth. And she's like, oh, that is disturbing. So they do a lot of things well visually. I mean, I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes and look forward to watching more. Anyway, let's get back on track. Finishing up with the weekly wrap up. So there is a report that Sony is prioritizing the PS6 over the PS5 Pro, and the big follow up on why is, and I feel like all 3 of us can agree with this, with how this generation has gone, is they just feel like the PS5 has not even come close to reaching its potential because everything's been backwards compatible. Everything's been cross-gen. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Totally cool with it. And we also reported on this a while ago, and it's now getting some more reports behind it, that Gears 6 and Gears Ultimate Collection are rumored to be active development. Gears 6, though, is years away from release. And the last thing here that I wanted to shout out, because I came across this today. It was an upload that I saw from a couple days ago that I thought was so cool, called Halo 3 Sunrise. Just Google it. You can find the Discord to join. What Halo 3 Sunrise is basically the original Halo 3 on Xbox 360. People modding it where they are reactivating the servers. They do it every Wednesday night. You can join the Discord, and people that are doing the mod itself, they're the ones that are essentially hosting it. And it's not like it's a blowout amount of players online, like, from the video I was watching from, I don't remember his name, Mint something. It only showed like 1,500 players online, but it's still the fact that it is the original Halo 3 servers, once again active on the 360. It's just a big nostalgia trip. So if you want to go down there, and you don't have to do anything, you don't have to just join the Discord, and all you have to do is like join this person's game, because they're the one that's X people are the ones hosting it basically and activating the servers where they're going into whatever playlist to play, and the veto system still works and everything. So I watched the video. I thought it was super cool. It's a nice little nostalgia
Great,
trip.
we can do that toxic shit again.
Correct.
Nothing like a full lobby and everyone's as it gets to 2 seconds. Fucking veto.
Veto. Yep. Get it done quick. All right. That is everything for today's show. Boys, any last thoughts on anything that we chatted about here today?
No.
Same here. No for me.
No.
All right. I'm going to hit the music. We're going to get out of here then.
Alrighty then. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. If you watch this wherever platform you're on, live streaming, subscribe, follow, help us out, build it out, tell a friend, tell someone next week here on Saturday to come join you. Thanks. Bye.
Do everything he said and more. If you made it to the end of the episode with us, thank you very much, and hopefully you'll come check us out next week as well. We do live shows every Saturday around 6 p.m. Central Time. Thank you.
Make sure to also check us out at sparky3.com. You can sign up for free or sign $5 a month. Appreciate that extra support. Check out some Rogue Energy with our referral link. If you want to use our promo code for 10% off, feel free. If you get a 25% off promo code, hey, that's cool too. If you just use our referral link, it honestly helps us more than the promo code. And also go check out Agent Inc. and pick up a jersey because they are sick. Make sure you go follow us over at TikTok at Sparky3Official. Have been posting multiple videos every single week. And until next time, guys, have a good one. See ya.